Good morning. Let me show you what I just put up. Just got it in the mail yesterday. How excellent is that? I love it. Hanging right off the solar array. Double-sided. It's fantastic. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Can't wait to see it flying behind the boat. It's early. I'm gonna kind of putter and tinker today, I think. I was gonna put on some new goosenecks for my lifelines, and they're too short. They will not fit. They're 2 inches too short. And I don't feel like swaging new lines, so I'm just not gonna do it. I'll return them. This is what I was gonna replace, the old gooseneck. So this is the gooseneck. It attaches back here to that back stanchion, and you can remove it to get in and out of the boat easily. And here's kind of the issue is, see how it just flopped open? So the only thing keeping it closed is this slide, and the slide is either A, impossible to move, or B, moves very readily. And I don't love that, because if it, for whatever reason, slid back and popped open, your lifeline now is dragging in the water, and you could be in danger of falling overboard. I keep it right here on my rigging, just to keep up out of the way while I'm working on the boat. But normally it would attach right there. Kind of a bummer. I was excited to put those on. Maybe I can find a longer one. They're just not long enough to fit. I got it screwed onto the the wire, and it will not connect. It's just too short. I've got new line that I could potentially swage and make longer, but I just don't know if it's worth it. The other evening I installed my new nav lights, my red-green light required for steaming at night. I guess you'd call them steaming lights. And quite a bit more complex than I would have imagined, as most things are that I have found with the boat. But anyway, this little wire that runs up the push put here through the tubing, and it pops out right there. And there's a stainless steel bracket that light screws to. And got rid of the old funk. And I'm not even going to go into details about the old one, because it was a joke. Somebody had rigged it up with battery powered lights. It was kind of hilarious. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with myself today. I really am disappointed that these goosenecks aren't going to fit. Look how much shorter they are. There's no way to make them longer. That's what screws into it. So it screws in like that. See, I mean, it's a full 2 inches shorter. And I even threaded it just a few threads on it, still too short. And of course, that's not safe. Oh, this makes me crazy. So this end is swaged with this threaded eyelet. I have new of these. I could put a new on. This end is swaged with an eyelet. I mean, I could potentially just maybe make a piece and lengthen that. That might be easier to do. I could make a loop, essentially, and just lengthen it. You know, I think I'm gonna go look at those options. Victory is mine. Rather than have you watch another soul-crushing defeat for a third time, I just did it. D-shackle, stainless, hardened, wonderful piece of equipment, and I have two of them. I shrunk the size of this little U-shackle. This was the original. It was much larger, probably nearly 1/4 of an inch longer. We have a tight lifeline. I'm thrilled. So now we're gonna go right there and do the other side. And we're installed. Look at that. So now when you're at the dock and you're wanting to get on and you don't want to step over the lifeline because it usually cuts into your thigh, you pull the quick release gooseneck and you can release it and you can get on the boat, and when you're ready to get underway, you just put it back. Isn't that slick? Super cool. So I've rigged up my my Traveler with some new rope. I put some black rope on here that had green flake in it, and it was just too big. It didn't function well. It was crappy rope. It was cheap. And don't get me wrong, this is also pretty cheap rope. But for the Traveler, it's not a big deal. It's not a lot of rope. And I can change this out every year or two if I need to. So the Traveler, I will show you. It controls. Let me see if I can get my main sheet down. Just a moment. It's all knotted up here on the boom. One of the only ropes that's really in good shape is the main sheet. Still in great shape. Alright, let's pull this down. Make sure we're not going to be twisted. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And that probably looks familiar. That's a quick release shackle. If I can get to my Traveler, hold on. Pull that over. I did that by pulling this rope. And then we will shackle on. So, as you're sailing along, there we go, we're cleated in. This is your main sheet line, and some of it actually will come into the cockpit. That'll sit over there. So you're sailing along, and this is holding the boom, and it controls where the boom is going to be on the boat relative to the wind. So let's say the wind is coming from the port side and the boom wants to swing over this way. We will, depending on what, I've got my Traveler backwards. Depending on the wind direction and whether or not we are close hold or a close reach or a beam, we can let this out by unsnapping it, and then rope will come through and the beam will swing out, which is awesome. And that's how you adjust your main sheet and control your boom. Now let's say I want to trim the sail a little bit. I don't have a Cunningham or a boom vang on this boat. I need to install a Cunningham. Well, actually I've got a temporary setup going. Cunningham pulls down the tack, which is the very lowest connection point to the boom and the closest to the mast. It's a hole in the sail, and I've tied that down to this cleat, which is right there, so that rope is tied to my tack, effectively being my Cunningham. I know it's a lot of terminology, right? But I love it. So anyway, a boom vang would attach to the bottom of the mast, and it would come up to the base of the boom. And we can't do that on this boat, specifically because of this pop top. And I would rather have the pop top and the headroom and the wonderful air conditioning essentially in the boat than have a boom vang. So this main sheet will kind of act as my boom vang in combination with my topping lift, which is this line. It goes all the way to the top of the mast. I think I'm going to lengthen that rope because it is also tied off at the mast and it's about as long as it is. But if I can increase its length, I can bring it back here to a cleat or a, I've forgotten the name of it now. Anyway, I can tie it off to a cleat here and effectively I could tighten it. Now when you tighten your topping lift, it wants to lift the base of the mast or the end of the mast up while this is pulling it down. And so I can effectively trim my sail. Let's say we want to put a little extra twist in it or something. I can pull this line, I can loosen this line, and I can move that car over, and then I can lock it back in over there, lock it back in over here, and get it to trim our sail a little bit. I mean, that's in theory. We'll see how it works once I'm on the water and I'm actually sailing. Right now my broom is tied to my backstay to keep it in position so it's not flopping around. It's a really nice morning out here. I'm trying to figure out what my next project will be. We've done our car here. No, it's not a car. It's a, well, whatever. We did our quick release lines with the goosenecks. I've got a forward hatch I need to put a new clamp on. It doesn't quite shut on that front upper lip, which is forward. And water over the deck, you could get a little bit of water in the cabin. So I ordered another, well, I'll just show you. All right, so we're in the bow of the boat, and here's the hatch situation. So this is a tie down, this is a tie down. Well, in the front, even when it's really tight, there's not a, I mean, there's kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a gap, but it's certainly not compressing this gasket. This is brand new gasket that I put in. And this is my tie down. You have to kind of modify these for this particular hatch to get whatever you would call this to tighten correctly onto the lip. You've got to increase your distance from the window here at the hatch. So I built up a bunch of screws just like that, just like the person before me did. We're going to drill a couple holes right here in the middle. We'll shoot a little 5200 on those screw heads on the outside, put them through the holes, put the washers on, and then get her bolted up. It's going to be, I say it like it's going to be, oh, it's going to be so easy, but it's going to be a struggle. I guarantee it. It is hot in the boat. It's not even, it's still early. I don't know what time it is. So hatch is done. Got 3, let me just pull a shot here. Boop. We've got 3, 1, 2, 3 closure points. This one catches a little bit, but it's the only way I can get it to close tightly with this, whatever this is, Lexan, plexiglass, I don't know. It's pretty heavy duty stuff. I think this is an aftermarket hatch. I don't think this is original to the boat. I bet somebody stepped on the hatch and it broke, or who knows. But if you give it a good pull like that, she closes real nice. And then you got to close your sides. Otherwise, if you close the front first, it deforms the top and it bows a tiny bit. So see, watch. See how it's bowed? And if I start tightening, it starts pulling that closed. And then we can close our front. can close is this one. Someday I'll have a boat I can stand up in. Boom. Closed. Weather tight. No gap in the front anymore. I took out the solar fan because it was no good. It needs to be replaced. That's $95. Susan's not going to be happy when I order that. She put me on an Amazon spending freeze. But hey, I got a hole in my boat and that's got to be fixed. Nothing's ever easy. This should have been like a 5-minute thing, and it was like, oh no, we're gonna make it difficult as hell for you. But it's in, and it's gonna work, and I'm happy with it. You know what, I think I'll leave the hatch open today and let the heat out of here, because there's no point of having this closed with a hole in it. Same thing, to open it, you've got to be a little bit forceful. There. Now we can put our head up out of the boat. It's actually pretty nice in the shade out here. So I'm going to measure that thing. Let's go up there. Oh, this is the good. You got the pop top up. I can stand up. Just barely hits your head right here. There. I can headroom. 5200. So this was the solar fan. And the fan blade should be in there. And I assumed this was a switch. But no bueno. No operate. It sits on top of that hatch like that. That goes through the hole in the hatch. Solar power powers it. And it blows air from outside through this cowl down into the boat. Pretty cool. Get a little draft when you're sleeping there. So I'll measure that and we'll try and find a replacement. It's nice to sit down here in the boat when that is not gonna sit. There we go. It's awesome to sit here and just chill. I could put the camper top on and actually I can shut that upper hatch. Now we're in the shade. Okay, I am up at the forward berth, trying to get things stowed away here. So I pulled all my stuff out. I usually keep all the sails up here. The jib and the Genoa, the storm sail sit up here. So the back side here, this is my anchor locker. I don't know if you can. There's the bottom of the anchor locker. That's the drain for the anchor locker. There's a wire in there. I'm gonna assume that's going up to run my nav lights, my steaming lights. Oh, and then there's a little washer. All right, now we're down in. This is not the bilge. This is where the water tank would be. So this tube would be my filling the tank. This tube, I'm pretty sure is the supply, and it's disgusting. I'm not drinking anything coming out of that. I'll replace it, although I probably wouldn't drink this water anyway. It would just be for hand washing. And I'm not even sure what this is. I'm gonna have to go back in the cabinet and look. There's 3 of them. How cool is that? Here's my serial number. That's cool. I should take a picture of that. They've laminated that in there. That's so awesome. So down here, this, I believe, is a depth sensor, or this is a depth sensor, one of the two here. And it sucks that the wires have just been cut. The equipment's gone. One of these is a speed sensor, and under the boat, there's a little paddle wheel that turns with the water when you move, and it would send to a unit and tell you how fast you're going. That would be cool. I have a GPS unit I'm gonna install, but I feel like it'd be really cool if you had original, working equipment. I mean, it's here. Why not use it? Yeah, it's unfortunate that this is, like, I don't think I could even take this out. It's so doped in with 5200 and funk and age and crud. I'm afraid I'd open that and never get it closed right, and my boat would leak. This is the forward hold. It'd be cool to have some ballast in here. There's a water tank if I had 100 pounds of water in there, or 100 gallons. That'd be what is that? Eight pounds a gallon. 800 pounds of water would be amazing. Maybe a little excessive, honestly. But if you had 50 gallons of water in here to wash your hands with and clean up things with, that'd be really handy. So I'm going to do some research into boat water tanks. Okay, let's look. See, now this is interesting. Here's that big line, the fill line. Here's what I am assuming is the supply. You know what? Now I don't think it is the supply. I don't know where that's going. That's going straight up with, can you see this? It's going straight up with the fill. And so, I mean, the fill line, which is the great big one. Oh, that's interesting. So this is my fill, and this is the deck right here. So there's a cap here you can unscrew, put a hose in there. This goes out, oh, I know, that goes out the side of the boat, and it's a little drain. That's interesting. It must be an overfill. If you overfill your tank, it backs up that hose and goes out over the side. So you could effectively flush your tank, or if you walk off and forget you're filling your tank, it'll just overflow there. That's interesting, which is why I need to study this, because I would assume the tank has to be under pressure to function. But so this is our on off, right? It's seen better days. I'm tempted to pull it out and dismantle it and clean it. Let me get this sail bag out from behind me. Let's go into the lower cabinet, shall we? And see what we can see. Oh, the joys of owning a boat. This is going to be really difficult, especially with one hand. Whew. Okay. Oh, no. I'm not. I'm not skinny enough. Okay, let's go in the cabinet. Oh, okay. I see the little line is the supply line. So cool. I'm gonna turn you around and use you for a moment. I'm gonna record up under there where I can't see, and see if maybe there is an electronic wire running up there. All right, we're under the sink, and we're looking, and that's it. That's the supply to the sink. There's no electronics. 100% want to replace that line, because it's gross inside and out. This is a dead space that you can't get to down here. The wires to the CB radio are there, the car stereo wires. That's a little bit interesting there. That's just cabinet structure. Be cool if this opened up. This could give me a little more room. That's the drain for the sink there. That goes out to that really pretty, what I thought was bronze fitting, but after polishing it, it's brass. Okay. So I'm a great big guy laying down in a tiny space. I'm gonna try and get up. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Ooh. Here's another storage cabinet. My bilge hose runs through here. The bilge is right here. A little moisture there. I may let that sit and breathe. There's a little bit of water in the bilge, probably from washing. Let's turn it on. Not enough to really pump anything out. I really want to see down in there. So that's the bilge. This is my first really good look at it. The orange thing is the pump. And I'd like to know how far back that goes. I'd be interested to know. But if water gets in the boat, that's where it ends up. It's right above the keel. And it's got the switch for it's right here. And I can put it in auto. And it will pump out intermittently. It'll do a little bzzz off. Bzzz off. And then I can do it manually and I can push and hold the button down. But you can see it's activated. Just not quite enough water to get it all out. A little bit of condensation on this board. There's the nail that was in the 5200. I think I'll leave this open, let it dry out. There's a little bit of moisture here. You can see that's wet. Don't like my boat being wet. Here's the 5200. I put a nail in the hole like that to keep it from spoiling between uses. Oh yeah, then we can just hang it there. I meant to do that. Electronics locker is right here. And that's my electrics. And if you look, it's white and red wire. This stuff's vintage. That looks like lamp wire. That is not, that ain't proper. But I mean, for 12 volt, it doesn't matter. But what I'm gonna do, and I've messed with the wiring down there. Nothing's labeled. This is the switch that most of it runs to. That's the control panel for running lights, deck lights, steaming lights, anchor light, cabin lights with fan, radio, and accessories. Accessory controls nothing. I assumed it probably controlled the radio, the car radio, which doesn't function, and it never will. I don't know. I may or may not remove it. But so the battery is beyond this wall. Here's my charger and trickle charger. You can see right now it's charging. And that's running off of my solar panel, which is fantastic. damn-tastic. That's just super. Let's see how many volts we got. Boom. We're just barely shy of 12 volts. And I've had the lights and the fan running now for probably the better part of an hour. And she's just making power. So my plan is to put another panel just like this, of course new, not vintage, right here on this wall. We will get power to a bus bar, and then anything new that I'm going to connect to the boat, lighting wise or equipment wise, I will run off of that. This panel here is full. I don't want to mess with it. I was doing stuff to it and it didn't like it. It's mystery wiring is what I kind of call it. So I'll create my own independent circuit. Of course, I'll hook it to this is my main on off. So if I had 2 batteries, I could switch this from 1 to 2. I could run off a first battery or second battery or both batteries. And this is my main kill. If you want to turn the power off, basically right at the battery, boom, that's off. And we won't solar charge or anything. And that you want to do if you're going to work on the system and you want to really unplug your solar panel, because you could actually shock yourself with that solar supply. That could be dangerous. What else haven't I shown you yet? Let me move the companionway door. This is my camper pop top. And those are my seat cushions. Under here, more storage. And that's easy access for things like flares, emergency equipment, maybe a spare life jacket. Probably put my foulies in there for foul weather. And you know what? I don't know that I've looked in the next one. Let's move some cushion. Boy, we're just trashing the boat today. Heck, let's just move it all. Taking the boat apart. Oh, there's storage behind this cushion, which is cool. Fire extinguisher, extra rope. Easy access stuff. I don't know if I've looked in here. So it's just access. It's just wire. You could throw some stuff in here if you needed to. Relatively dry area. It's going to be up high compared to the bilge. And then I guess I might as well take you into the nose of the boat, which is real fun. Oof. I gotta lay on my back to do this. So there's the nose of the boat. You can see the drain. The bilge pumps into that drain and shoots it out the back. You can see the back of the bait well of the holding box. Drains into the center again. And then over there are my batteries. Or a battery. There's 2 boxes, 1 battery. I want to put a second battery in it. And then over there where it's light, that's a locker. That's I can open that from the cockpit and put stuff down in here. So there's oars down in here, a gas can, a folding bucket, flotation devices, and that kind of stuff. So kind of cool. Here's a little dry box. If you wanted to put something in here, you can. It's an old protein container, protein powder. Put it in there and throw it down here and it'll stay dry. I don't know, like maybe tools or something, or extra small rope, or I don't know, whatever. And you could coil a rope into that box. There's a new light I put in. That's a little companionway light at night to light the stair area. You can come down a little easier. And of course that runs off of cabin lights. There we go. Might as well turn them all off. And that's that. That's an impromptu boat tour. It's trashed now. But that's fine. Put my stuff back.